the Think Marketing Show, the #1 podcast for growing and scaling your business with online video. I'm Heather Torres.
And I'm Sean Cannell, and we're from Think Media. And if this is your first time listening, welcome.
This show is dedicated to helping you learn how to get your content noticed and the latest money-making strategies working right now online. So whether you want to grow your YouTube channel or maximize online video across social media, this is for you. We're talking all about scripting videos today. So what are some of your tips for making good videos?
Yeah, so I think that this is a big deal because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. However, there's also a tension that we live in where we can be in analysis paralysis, or we can just be planning forever. And let us know maybe in the comments if you're on either of those two extremes where you just kind of wing it and the content's not that great, or you're so stuck and you're like, I need to make it more perfect and plan the notes more. I think there's kind of a happy middle, and that's what we try to do kind of in our process here at Think Media. And so I have a few tips I wrote down. I think the first one is to always reverse engineer. You got to start with the end in mind. Like, what is even the point of this YouTube video? Is the point of the video actually just to experiment? Like, are you just trying to kind of figure out YouTube, get comfortable on camera? Then why are you even overthinking it? Just grab your phone, hit record, and start shooting. Is the point of the video to educate people about your business? Do you, at the end of the video, want them to go to your website or call you or fill out an application form to hire you as a real estate agent or apply for a loan or something? Like, what do you want the video to do? Is the point of the video to just grow your influence, period? Add free value to the marketplace? What is the point of the video? And a lot of times we don't start with the end in mind. We just start recording and then we go, well, how should we position this? Or what is the purpose of this video? Have you noticed this?
Yeah, definitely. I think even in my own content creation, I sometimes skip this step, and then it makes putting the video out even harder. If you don't already just know where's this going, who's this for, what type of content am I putting in this video, and why am I making this video, it makes it so much harder at the end. So I think that reverse engineering, like you're saying, is so critical. And as a new creator, it was one of the things I struggled with the most, because not only was it hard to get comfortable in front of the camera and gain confidence to turn the camera on, but then to think, I need to know where this is going and what this is for and who this is for. That's a lot of complexity in video creation. And so this piece to me has been one of the biggest growth that I've had in creating videos. And I think this right here is one of the biggest pieces that you teach in all of video creation. Yeah,
totally. And our friend Peter actually says it this way. He says, think things through, then follow through. Mm-hmm. And we're so busy in today's culture, and we're on our phones, and we feel frantic to create a video. Like, slow down, plan on paper, and really just brainstorm some ideas and answer some of those questions. Okay, what do I really want to do with this? How do I want to show up for the video? What do I want people to experience in this video? What would winning look like? Like, if this video really did awesome, what would it accomplish? Would it get a lot of views? Would it get a lot of subscribers? Would it get people to sign up for a free giveaway? Would it get people to register for a conference? Would it just build general awareness? Like, really just, and that takes some time. Mm-hmm. Like, even if it's 10 or 15 minutes looking at that paper. But then number 2 is then research before you press record. Mm-hmm. And this is the idea that, especially because YouTube is a search engine, now that you've hopefully planned on paper, you have a general idea of, I kind of know what I want to talk about. I know what my target audience, the people I'm trying to reach, are looking for generally. I know what this video is going to be generally like. You want to then actually research and do some keyword research. And so some of our favorite tools right now are, we use the vidIQ keyword planner. That one is on the other side of the Boost program for vidIQ. And we actually have an affiliate relationship with them, and we love using them. That's like vidiq.com/think. But there's also free ones. Ubersuggest right now is a good keyword research tool. That's totally free. And we'll link to a couple others in the description below. We go deeper in this, of course, in other videos. And so we also have a playlist. We'll link that up and put that in the description on specifically our process for like how to research, how to come up with those video ideas. But here's the 101 of it. Take what you've done in your planning on paper stage to the YouTube search bar. Mm-hmm. Have you ever gone to the YouTube search bar? Or I know you have, but we're like, laying this out. So play with me. Okay. So you go to the YouTube search bar, you start typing, what happens?
it starts predicting other words beyond the word that I typed in.
Absolutely. People have seen that on Google. It finishes your sentence for you. It's autocomplete. And so if you go to then the YouTube search bar, you can start typing, you know that in reverse engineer stage, you're like, okay, what I want to talk about is I know I've got a cooking channel and I want to talk about how to cook steak in a frying pan, which is gonna be different than baking it, different than a grill. So you start typing like how to cook steak. Well, that's too broad. And you actually will see, and people could test this at home, it'll finish your sentence for you. It'll be like how to cook steak on a grill, how to cook steak in a frying pan, how to cook steak in an oven, how to cook steak, how to boil steak. And it'll start maybe switching it. That is then what would be one-on-one of the research phase. And what YouTube is telling you there is it's telling you the exact keyword phrases that people are searching, like what they're typing into YouTube in order. So then there's a list of them. The top one is the most searched on YouTube. The bottom one is the least searched. And this is like now, it's giving you so much clarity because it's basically telling you, okay, this is the way I should now position what I've planned. This is what will be probably influencing my title. This will influence the whole rest of the process. And here's the thing, most people miss these first two steps and therefore their results suffer on YouTube.
Yeah. And I think you're so right. So it's like, even before you get to scripting a video, there's actually steps that happen before that are so critical to make sure that the video that you're putting the time and the effort and the energy into actually produce something.
100%.
In celebration of the launch of this brand new podcast, we're giving away 2 tickets to our annual conference, Grow with Video Live, a $1,500 value.
All you have to do to enter is make sure you subscribe, leave us a review on Apple Podcast, and then take a screenshot of your review and go to thinkmarketingshow.com for the rest of the details.
So then, okay, we've now defined the keywords that we want. The number 3 is really interesting because I thought when I first started creating videos that this next step was like towards the end after you made the video, but it's not. What's number 3?
So then number 3 is I actually think you should plan out your title next. Mm-hmm. And so you haven't even outlined your video. You maybe have some rough ideas on paper. You have some keyword research. So maybe now you know that your video is about how to prepare your 2020 taxes or how to new 2020 tax laws if you're in accounting. And this applies for any industry. Like people are searching for specific things in any industry, you know, it could be marketing, like how to build a sales funnel or how to fix a WordPress plugin, like a million things. Best settings for the Canon M50. Like those are types of videos we do. So you kind of have the keywords, but now you want to actually figure out the title, meaning how is it going to be? Now you don't have to make it perfect yet. But this again is going to set the North Star for the entire video. Sometimes what you'll learn here is that you also might be sitting on more than one video. Mm-hmm. What you prepared on paper actually is going to make a great 4 videos instead of just one. We've learned that sometimes we can break down tech training, tech education into multiple different pieces. It's like people need to learn how to set the autofocus settings best for a certain camera, but then it's also how do you get the audio settings right, but then how do you get the color right? And sure, all of those could go under a big video, like 10 tips. They also could potentially be broken down into different videos. So in this process, those are some of the conclusions you can make. And here's why this is so powerful. You haven't taken a shower and picked out your clothes yet. You haven't put makeup on or like set up lights. You haven't like made sure your batteries were charged. You haven't spent a lot of energy doing the hard work of creating content. You're actually spending a lot of energy doing the hard work of planning your content, but it's going to save you so much energy in the long run. When we sit down at Think, just our company overall and start planning content, a lot of times we'll start seeing it splinter off and we'll be like, okay, because we're planning on paper, and by the way, we use Google Docs.
Yeah.
So we'll plan digitally, but we like to keep everything in Google Docs. If you want to collab with other people, you can add them really easy and everyone can type in there together. And so we then began seeing, okay, this could also turn into this. And I've learned I prefer to do this the day before. Mm-hmm. I always prefer not to plan or to prepare any videos the same day I'm going to shoot the videos. It's almost like 2 different types of the brain where you're more in like planning mode. You got your coffee, you got your Google Docs, you're getting it all dialed in and organized. So then you come in with a level of structure where you're like, actually, it's going to be video number 1, video number 2. it's going to roughly have this title. Roughly, video number 2 is going to have this title. I want to hit these general points, which brings us kind of into the next point.
Yeah. And the next point is something where I think that as you're walking through your videos, there are different types of videos. So if you're doing an interview style video, or if you are doing maybe a sales video with the teleprompter, but we want to get into the content, the meat, the piece that is really important. So now we have our title. How do you plan your content? How do you know what goes into the video?
Yeah, so tip number 4 is then to outline your video. Now we're sitting here doing the Think Marketing show, and this morning actually, breaking my rules, but it's crazy as shoot week here, and so we've been packing a lot of stuff in. So I did block the time. I made sure I went to bed early, and I wanted to be super hydrated. I knew we had a big shoot day, and so I opened up Google Docs. You looked at all the topics.
Yeah, I did topics, and I got some idea of titles based on where we want this show to go.
Absolutely. So then I ran with those, and I started to bullet points underneath those. So I would say for me, the outline, the video is bullet points. And I also like to have numbers, it brings some organization to it. We've got 5 points here so people can follow along, hopefully, and not just kind of have just general flowing information. What did I walk away with? But something concrete. This would definitely be more relevant for education, how-to, training, when you're teaching something, when you're helping somebody get a result, moving from point A to point B to point C. And then I've also learned, though, that during this phase, you want to give yourself a little bit of margin to bullet a few points, but then also to do further research. So for me, this means like verifying and studying out my ideas. So what we've learned, especially with doing hundreds of videos on Think Media, is I'm like, okay, if I was going to tell somebody how to use the best, set up their camera to shoot video, I'd probably tell them to do X, Y, and Z. And there's like 3 points. Then what I like to do is maybe watch, what are other people teaching on this? I'll read a few blogs about it. I'll actually then say, what you'd want to do is make sure your frame rate is set to 60 frames a second. And then I like to challenge myself. Is that true? And then I like to go to blogs and forums. I actually really, again, you haven't pressed record on the video yet. So you don't want to, it's very hard to go back and change the video later or have to reshoot it if you said something wrong. So I like to verify and study my ideas as much as possible on paper, staring at the computer. And then that way I go, oh, wow. And sometimes I'll catch a nugget from somebody else's video where they'll say, yeah, I tried that and it didn't work. Or did you know? And I'll be like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. And it'll just tweak one of my ideas and take it to just kind of another level. It's giving the content some time to breathe. And if possible, where this becomes really powerful is if you do space this out even more. I found that once you've planned for a while, prepared for a while, and then taking a break, go on a run, go on a jog, take a break off, take a nap, like get just out of your normal element. I don't know if people are like me. Tell me if you're like this in the comments. Like if you're doing something else, you're driving with your kids, and all of a sudden an idea pops in your head and you're like, wait a minute, I totally forgot a whole point. Have you ever noticed that happen?
Yeah.
You let your prepared content breathe and it actually makes it stronger, and you haven't even pressed record yet.
Yeah, it's so critical that these steps that we're doing before we even press record, it makes shoot days so much easier. I know we've found here at Think Media that if we aren't planned, we will miss entire shoot days because we end up planning these types of things. And one of the things I love that you've taught me is that once you start making those lists, like 5 things, you challenge yourself to say, well, are there 7 steps versus 5 steps? And really thinking about, are you putting out the best content, and are you actually sharing everything for that person to get from point A to point B? So the next is the final notes. What is that like?
Yeah, so now think about this. We've reverse engineered the big idea. We've researched before we press record. We kind of know some keyword research that we've done. We've planned out the general title. We've outlined the video. And now we're looking at it and saying, okay, what is it missing and what else would make it stronger? These are things like, should there be any calls to action? And this is sort of a deeper concept we teach in some of our training programs called like circular video virality. If possible, in the middle of the video, if you teach a point, do you teach that somewhere else in another one of your videos? You could link to that. And that's then being able to say, just like we kind of did in this video, if you want to learn more about research before you press record, click or tap the YouTube card or click the link in the description below. If I have this written in my notes. That's a call to action that happened during the last phase of, okay, that's a final note. Where could I weave in some things like that? Are there any props that we need? We're shooting a batch of the Think Media show today, And so I brought like 7 different shirts just so I could go through the different shirts for the shoot. And so make sure I have those prepared. Are there people that we need? Do we need any help with this? Or it's like, hey man, can you be there to help me set up? And even if you're doing this solo, you're like, hey honey, can you make sure the kids aren't in the house? Like looking ahead, like what else, is there any final notes, and getting that all on paper? Again, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. This is that strategic, one of our favorite quotes is Sun Tzu, author of The Art of War, famous military general. Every battle is won before it's even fought. And I think that's why a lot of entrepreneurs are losing, and a lot of people and content creators are losing, is because they're so frantic right now. They haven't taken the time to slow down and really strategize, to slow down and really think things through and then follow through. If every battle is won before it's ever fought, that means we're planning on paper. It means that you're standing over the battlefield with the miniature, characters and thinking, okay, am I thinking all this through? Do we have the gear we need, the notes we need? And things can happen, because this is stuff that gets us tripped up. Once you even think of, this could be notes about, okay, what gear do I need? What outfit do I need to charge the batteries? Do I need to make sure that, oh shoot, that's right, my camera is at my sister's house. Like I'm not gonna be able to shoot tomorrow. This stuff happens all the time. And we've noticed that it'll just trip your shoot up. You're like, tomorrow I'm gonna get like 5 videos done. I mean, like, I don't know, give me an amen in the comments if you're like, completely. I thought Saturday morning was gonna be this really effective thing. And then I was like, oh, that's right, I didn't plug my camera in, and I have to wait hours to charge the battery for my camera. All those little types of deal. I know this could kind of sound overwhelming, but it's actually by investing in energy, in scripting your videos and planning them ahead of time, that it saves you massive energy in the future.
Yeah. Are there any parts of videos that you do like to actually script out word for word? Like, what are the key elements in a video that you think need to be in it when people are actually at the phase of getting those video scripts done?
In my opinion, I think the most important part of, so for me, I'm good with an outline and just bullet pointing the points, and that'll keep me on track, maybe adding in some call to actions, any other notes that need to be added under each point, or a disclaimer, or by the way, but the hook, the intro, the first 10 seconds, it could be 30 seconds, it could even be a minute, I believe should almost potentially be scripted word for word, especially if you're newer to YouTube videos and to kind of marketing and grabbing people's attention, because people will forgive you and watch the rest of the video if you've set it up right. But if you mess up those first few seconds and you don't create some curiosity, if you don't hook people's attention, making them want to watch more, if you don't actually set the stage for what they're about to learn and they're not even interested in learning more, if you don't maybe say there's 5 points coming up, or have any kind of nuggets, you want to think through all those types of things. And that's probably a topic for a whole nother episode of the Think Media Show someday. But yeah, I will oftentimes write a sentence or 2 or 3, and I'll try to nail that hook in that intro. And then after that, I kind of relax a little bit and then just try to hit the bullet points. But that's some precious time. And with everybody scrolling through the different social media platforms, you only have a few seconds. There's actually the goldfish rule that they did a study, Microsoft did a study, that goldfish have an attention span of 8 seconds. But humans now, because of social media and phones, our attention span is now 7 seconds. So Heather, you've got the attention span of a goldfish.
I know, I feel it.
Yeah, I know, as do I. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so that means that, what are you gonna do in those first few seconds to get people to watch the rest of the video? If you could have the most life-changing information at minute 4 in your video, but if you don't set the stage right, people may never get there. So invest extra energy when you're writing your outline, potentially scripting your hook.
So good, Sean. Thank you for those 5 points. And I think one of the things that I've learned from you is that it's okay to mess up. As you're going through and making these videos and you're doing these scripts, that it's okay to not always have it perfect, right? But then there is that point where when you're producing the video, that you can bring your personality to it, but making sure that you're hitting these key 5 things is something that has massively changed my brand and what I've been able to do. So if you like this type of content, we are here for you. We are creating content just like this. And I want to know in the comment section, do you script your videos? Let us know. know. And what type of videos do you want to see here on the Think Marketing Show? Thanks for checking out this episode. We hope you got a ton of value. And if you haven't already, subscribe here to the Think Marketing Show wherever you're watching or listening.
And hey, it would mean the world to us if you would rate and review this show on Apple Podcast.
As we grow this movement of purpose-driven content creators, we encourage you to share it with a friend. And we'll see you in the next episode.